Hey guys, Ogi here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I want to share with you guys my Meteor Fire Wizard build. This was actually the hardest build to get working. Just making a working fire build on the Sorc is like my main goal because I really enjoy the fire element. I tried so many different things this morning. I tried focusing fully on Incinerate, I tried Firewall, everything, and this is the best fire Meteor build I could come up with on the Sorc, even though Meteor is pretty underwhelming at the moment. The way I have it set up, it worked the best out of all the fire builds. So without further ado, let's get into the build now, shall we? Let's have a look at our skills. So we start actually with Firebolt, Enhanced Firebolt, and Flickering Firebolt just for mana regen, and it does pierce through burning enemies as well. And it regens enemy whenever it hits a burning enemy. So you want to try and like mark a lot of enemies when they're burning, and then you just spam this when you need MP, which is quite often. Then we come down to Core. We don't pick up any skills here. We just put three points into there for increased maximum mana, because you know max mana won't hurt since this build is really mana hungry. Just one thing to keep in mind with this build, fire builds require a lot of skill points to actually get to their full potential in D4, because they require a lot of mana regen, crit strike. They rely on a lot of stuff like that, and there's a lot of passives to actually boost that. But obviously we don't have access to it right now, as this is only the beta, so we can only get to level 25, so limited skill points. But I believe this build is going to pop off in the full release once we can actually spec into all the fire points in the full release of D4. And that goes to say with all fire builds, I think all fire builds become a lot stronger, just keep that in mind. So moving on, we pick up 1 point in Ice Armor, we get Enhanced Ice Armor for the mana regen, and then Shimmering Ice Armor just because I had a free point. And whenever enemies attack you, they have a chance to become frozen, just to help a little bit with survivability. And the reason we go Ice Armor instead of Flame Armor is because this only lasts for 2 seconds, whereas Ice Armor lasts for 6 seconds. They're on the same cooldown, and the only reason I'm really picking them up is for the mana cost reduction, which they both have, but Flame Shield lasts longer, so Flame Shield gets more uptime on the mana in my opinion. So that's why we go with Ice Armor. And then moving on down, actually we pick up 3 Glass Cannon as well, don't forget about that. Bread and butter for every Sorc build in my opinion. And then we pick up 1 point in Hydra, Enhance Hydra, and Summon Hydra, just to add to that burning damage, which is going to synergize well with the legendary we have. Because of burning damage, and we pick up 1 point in Align the Elements, just because I didn't really have anywhere else to put this, and free damage reduction, you'll never say no to that. Then we come on down to Meteor, 5 out of 5 for Meteor with Enhanced Meteor, and then Mage's Meteor. This one I kind of feel is mandatory because the Meteor falls so slow without this. You really need this to like bring them down a lot faster before enemies move away or stuff like that. So really important there. And then these last 3 skill points, I played around with having them in Firewall or having them down here in Fiery Surge. Killing a burning enemy increases your mana regen by 10%. So if you put 3 points into it, it'll be 30%. But then if you come to Firewall, it actually does a load of damage. You see if it's 8 seconds, it lasts a long time. And then enemies take 25% increased burning damage from you while standing in the firewall. So that's 25% increased damage. Massive damage, lasts for 8 seconds, and it also gives you mana regen 5% per every firewall up to 25%. So obviously that's 5 firewalls maximum. So firewall, it does cost a little bit of mana to cast it, but it's going to give you increased fire damage, and it's going to give you mana regen. And it also does a lot of damage by itself, so I really like Firewall, as well as putting it into our enhancements down here. Once you get to level 15 on Sorc, you can obviously go do that, and you can put skills down there. I've played around with a bunch of different skills here for the Meteor, as well. It drops Meteors, but it's a really small percent chance, only 3% chance that barely ever procced. And then Firebolt as well just gives you a little bit more damage over time. Fireball actually is a really strong one, as you guys all know. This one like explodes everything with Fireball pretty much. If it dies, then they explode in the Fireball damage for 50% of its damage. Really good for AoE clearing. And then Hydra, not so good but I ended up on the firewall. Each time an enemy takes burning damage, there's a 5% chance to spawn 2 firewalls underneath them for 3 seconds. So each time an enemy takes burning damage, you really want to have all enemies burning, and you don't really want to commit to an elite without a bunch of little mobs. You don't want to kill the little mobs with this build. You always want to like set them on fire with your fireball and your firewall. Well, your firewall actually does so much damage to probably kill little guys. So stick to like firebolt, sorry. You guys know what I mean, like your basic firebolt ability. You want to burn them, drag them over to elites. Once you get to elites, you want to pop down at least one firewall, pop down your Hydra, and then you want to activate your ice armor to have mana reduction, and you want to spam your meteor. And then you just keep hitting your firebolt to regen mana if they're not dead yet, and spam your meteor whenever you have it up. But yeah, firewall, you want to put at least one firewall down just to get that 25% increased damage, the 5% mana regen. There'll be a lot more enemies on fire, so there's a chance that you'll get the firewall to proc an extra 2 firewalls, so that's 10%. Whenever it procs, it's giving you 10% right off the bat. And then you have the one up already, so that's 15% right out the gate, whereas that passive was giving you 30, so it's half of the passive right out the gate pretty much. If that procs and you have so many enemies burning, it's more than likely to proc. It really works well together, and I think this is going to really start to shine once we get more talent points in that, so we can go into all those passives. On the fire passive, there's so many good fire tree passives, increase your damage and all that kind of stuff, and then actually working Inferno in there somewhere too. Maybe once we get cooldown reduction and something like that. Editing Augie here. I forgot to add in the legendary aspects. I actually recorded it separately afterwards to put it in, but somehow I have ended up losing that footage and the beta is now closed, so I can't go back in and get it. But luckily for you guys, there's only 2 legendary aspects you need to make this build work. One of them being showed on screen right now. I luckily found a picture still. For your meteors to deal more damage and little meteors to fall around your big meteor, or like drop like 3 little meteors when your big one lands. And then the other aspect, I don't have any pictures for you guys. It is, I can't remember the name of it, but I know the effect is when enemies have burning damage more than their health. So like when your burn dot gets more than what their health bar is, or just their total health in value, then you actually deal increased fire damage to them. So obviously that will work really good with this build, with the fire damage and the meteors. And that's all the aspects that were really specific to this. And obviously anything else for like damage core skills and reduce MP and all that kind of stuff, all of those are really good too. But those being the main 2 that you need. So the meteor one and then the fire damage one when you have a big dot on the enemies. So that's what you want to look out for on the aspects. Alright. But that is my fire meteor wizard build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like and a sub to the channel. It helps me out so much, and I'll catch you beautiful people in the next one. Augie saying out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the